Hello, everybody. Welcome back. It is time for Syntax Live. How's everybody doing tonight? I see a few people have already joined us, and hello, everybody. First things first, just want to let you know, yes, there is another video dropping tonight. No, I haven't had too many issues, and I hope everybody likes the new series that's coming out. And this is where you guys get to let me know what you think, let me know where I should adjust things, and let me know what to do right, what I'm doing wrong, and of course, by all means, tell me how to fix it because there's a lot of folks in the comments section who've been able to help me fix a few things, especially in verbiage. Now, tonight's subject I want to cover because I've been looking into this. A lot of people said I should make some of my stuff into a manga or an anime, and then I started looking deeper into manga and anime. And those of you who are in it, you know this, that a lot of the powers they have, especially if you're isekai, into another world, the powers you get are actually scary. They're so scary, they're horrific. And I'll give you a couple examples on this. One, the shield, the body shield that everybody seems to have, whether it be an air shield, whether it be energy or all this other fun crap, you have that shield. Ask any physician how hard it is when a body gets slammed up against something. You get somebody with that type of ability and they're going to go splat, and it's going to be rather painful. So that's just one of the little ones. But the most horrific one that I found, basic skill that you have on any of these, is the item box. And this is why whenever I did the isekai, I didn't want that because it would have gone through from adventure to horror. Because you walk up to somebody and you say, I'm going to put you in my item box. Zip, they disappear. Oh, I'm going to disassemble you now. You're in 1,000 different pieces. You don't even know what happened. You're already in different pieces. Okay, we're going to keep your brain alive in there for a few hours and let you think about what you did before we let you out and watch, parts you end up on the chopping block. Item box is one of the most horrific things ever. It's just absolutely scary. And it's everywhere. It's everywhere. Nobody ever uses it for that. And yet all these different powers are absolutely scary. A lot of people have said like Plastic Man in comics, he's a joke character. He's not a joke character. They've written him right a few times when they had him do his actual like break into the prison during the Injustice series, or in the other dimensions where he actually goes and he's a bad guy and he uses his powers freely. He is one scary dude. He's scary. So is the Flash. Actually, he's the most powerful one there, to include Trigun, by the way. Yes, I know people are probably thinking, oh man, how do you be a deity? You go fast, apparently. It's just crazy how these simple abilities actually are beyond crazy. And I do have to thank a few people when I started bringing up the idea in one of the stories of pausing time and being able to restart it. I didn't understand the hard science. That was a fantasy one. And if you haven't heard it, that's because honestly, it was garbage. When I actually realized how bad I was doing, I deleted it. It was just bad. It's just bad. Speaking of which, if it looks like some of my videos have disappeared, it's because some of them did. I went back and I grabbed a couple of the ones where the audio, I was working with that headset over there, and the audio was just terrible. That's actually why I bought this thing. Got to have the microphone. So anybody who's actually looking into the actual audio recordings, you want to record something, get the good stuff right off the bat, or you're going to re-record a lot of things. I had to do the actual BattleTech story, not the Galactic War Games. I'm talking about the original BattleTech story I did, which actually I wrote back in the 1990s originally. I wrote it back again in the early 2000s, and that one sat, and that's the one you guys got. Believe me, I could rewrite it probably 2 more times since then because technology has evolved a lot. It is absolutely crazy. The first one was actually from a completely civilian standpoint. And when I actually broke it down, I was like, wow, I had no idea what I'm talking about. That's why I didn't give you guys that one. The second one, I'd actually been in service for a while. That's why it's better. However, when I first recorded it, again, the audio was terrible. I had to re-record everything. Thankfully, it was written down, so you guys got the same story twice. Anyway, One also come in with the other abilities some people have. Some of the simplest things, being able to turn people cold. Okay, so you get to make my root beer, which is tonight's drink, suddenly cold. No, actuality, getting somebody to slowly freeze is a very bad way to go. Ask any survivalist. Hmm. Speaking of which, if you're anywhere where the snow's starting to fall down, and it started to fall down over here, make sure, please, 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 everybody out there, get the few devices that you actually need. Like the little snow shovel to go in your car. They give collapsible ones. Um, the blanket and stuff if you get side on the road. Just a little bit of food, something to drink, something like that. Please do that. I have been stuck on the side of the road, and I've seen plenty of people the same thing. That's actually one of the reasons that I got the inspiration for how are they still alive? Yeah, that story where everybody was on a planet that was only about 20 degrees, and it was just covered in snow, because it was anywhere from 20 degrees Fahrenheit to negative 20 degrees Fahrenheit. If you know what you're doing during those, it's actually very, very easy to survive. I do recommend everybody learn that. Also, anybody out there who have kids, especially young kids, you need tomato soup, hot chocolate, and stuff to make your grilled cheese. I don't know what it is about those after kids have been out sledding that just makes them quiet and they enjoy it. I don't know what. Maybe it's the lycopene in the tomatoes. Maybe it's the dairy in the milk. Maybe it's the sugar that they're finally refilling because they're low. I don't know, but they get quiet and they enjoy that, and then usually they sleep. So, you want some peace and quiet in the wintertime. There you go. But that's actually something I was going to bring up in ambush predators eventually, but I never actually got around to it. That will be in most likely when I continue with the story. Yes, it will continue eventually. There might be about a month or a 2-month wait until I get back to it, but there's going to be a significant jump in that. So I know people love that one. Now, I don't know if you guys got into Man of Machine, and actually, that one, don't be surprised if it goes in a direction you don't know yet. There's a good reason why, and you'll figure it out by the end. I haven't even figured out how many parts it's going to be, because one of them turned out to be so long I might have to split it. So, anyways, as far as, again, the area of talk tonight was powers and how they are absolutely scary. I mean, seriously, you can have somebody with projectile farts and it would be actually scary, because if they cracked one off and you're behind them, suddenly you're heading to the hospital for torn ligaments. That much force against your body is just terrible. Although, granted, if you have a match behind them, you can send them into orbit at that point. So, anyways, I didn't have a lot of my notes tonight. So, as long as anybody's in the chat, I'm going to keep going. I'll keep this going for about 20, 30 minutes, unless, people don't want to get in the chats, and then it'll just depend on everybody out there. First thing first, Mr. Salty Sea Dog's already in. Dang, I'm first. What's up, everybody? What's up there, Sea Dog? You got we got a demon. Be careful. They're in the shadows. The demon's in the shadows. I just showed up and it's zip in the bag. You go. Wait, what? I get it now. Item bags in the fantasy world. Okay, yeah. It's what I was talking about. The item box. Absolutely a horrifying ability to anybody. You wouldn't even want to be within the same continent as somebody who has that. That's somebody just literally goes, you in the item box. Next thing you know, you're in purgatory until somebody lets you out, or until they dice and slice you up inside. And Lord knows if that's going to hurt, or how slow it's going to be, or if it's just instant and it's done. I don't know. So yeah, that's a horrific skill. Another one, I have to thank people in the chats on this, because it went along with the Speed Force. So if anybody's actually doing anything when it comes to people who move at supersonic speeds, just remember, once somebody breaks the sound barrier, physics gets interesting on that one. Especially if you break the speed of light, moving at the speed of light, you actually go inside an atmosphere. the actual explosion that happens. Now, I'm not a physicist. I understand my basic physics, but some of you guys, you really know your stuff. And the fact that say you pause time and you moved across the room, when you started time again, the shake of everything there, if you're using actual hard science, well, if I did that in this house, there wouldn't be a house. There'd probably be missing half a county. I mean, the explosion would be so incredibly strong from that. It's just crazy. And that's just all the molecules crashing together. You're basically turning yourself into a hydrogen bomb. I mean, I don't want to be known as a Zarbamba. I'm good. Let's see. Lee jumped in. I love Man Machine. It hit what I was looking for last night. Okay, cool. Yeah, it's again, there's another one dropping tonight, by the way. Part 2 is there, and hopefully you guys enjoy it as much. I didn't know if I went over the edge with the skidding of the ships and people getting tore out from underneath. I didn't know if that was too much, but again, I prefer the hard sciences. And again, a lot of what I'm getting from you guys really helps out. Now, I did actually get a comment right before I came on tonight where somebody was talking one of the stories. Actually, it was the turrets on turrets. Human turrets are everywhere. Humans love turrets. Well, he was wondering why they didn't just fire off all the nuclear stockpile once the aliens got into low orbit. Well, even if 20% of those miss, you're looking at a huge disaster for one. Two, if they blow them up before they even get that far, you got radiation leaks all over the place. I mean, it's just the fallout from a lot of the old stuff that we still have is it's not good. Let's just say it's not good. You want to say goodbye to an entire continent, that's what you do, because then you get radiation leaks all over the place. It's bad. Plus, one blows high enough, and there goes probably 50% of your electronics. Note to self: stay away from the Flash. Then, absolutely, Demon. He's if they actually put him in an actual universe where he didn't have the wonderful plot armor to protect him, oh god, just yikes. The amount of explosions that would follow him would probably, if he did one lap around the planet, it would sort of cut the planet, not cleanly, but it would do it. And it's just crazy. Yeah, physics works on road rashes. Yeah, been there, done that, got the t-shirt. Don't want to do that again. Although I'll tell you what, jumping out of an aircraft and then having that canopy fill up with air once you're on the ground, I'd almost take the road rash back, because there's nothing worse than you're on the ground going, oh, I finally landed, and suddenly you're going that way at about 35 miles an hour, reaching for your canopy release, like, oh crap, I'm still going. Give me the other one. Give me the other one. Give me the other. And then you got to chase your canopy down and hopefully it collapses. It's absolutely crazy. And for those of you who don't know, with airborne, it's not like civilian jumping. You don't have control. You just land wherever you land. And that I try to put a lot of that in whenever I do pods. People are orbital dropping ODST style, hell jumping style, which is pretty close to accurate. They got really close to accurate on that with Starship Troopers. They did a really good job explaining all that. If you haven't read it, it's one of the few books I recommend. I got another copy over there, I think. I'd have to dig it out. But I do have a copy of it. I had it all the way with me 2 tours in Iraq because I read it so many damn times. And they went over the whole idea of the shell. It's got like 3 or 4 shells, and they would constantly break away to bleed off the heat. And that's actually another thing that I got from one of the hard sciences about they can't bleed off heat very easy in space, which whenever I use energy weapons, there's always that issue, especially large scale weapons. If they fire something that is basically a ship that's an energy weapon, if they fire it, yeah, there's not going to be any recoil, but you can't fire that more than once, maybe twice. That's just straight science right there. It's not going to happen. Reason being is you'll eventually overheat and melt the damn thing. It's like firing 20,000 rounds through a short barrel of a saw, and that thing, it just doesn't bleed the heat off. It just cooks. So, okay. Demon got in. That ship thing was awesome. Love the detail. Shows you put a lot of thought into how everything is supposed to work. Details are nice too, though too many can be bad. Yeah, I was worried it was too much. But I feel like you were just on okay. So, okay, gut feeling on that, got to follow your gut on that. Place was where your story details are. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I got to be careful where I place the details. Yeah. I worry about that because I have read, I've read pretty much every one of the Battletech series up until about 2006, 2007. And then I just didn't have time. Life happened and I never got back into it. And if you haven't read those, they're like a lot of the series. You have a lot of different writers. They have to follow certain paths, but they're all different writers. And I've had some where I'm literally flipping through like 3 pages, and this guy's literally talking about walking up a hill, and it could be done in like 5, 6 lines at most. 3 pages of just description, and I'm just like, get to the freaking point, will you? So that's why I worry if I overdo the details, because I don't want you guys to do that and just like, I want to watch something else. Screw this guy, which does happen. Don't forget, rapid cooling can cause stress fatigue on a gun. Extreme heat to nearly absolute zero. Yeah. The thing is, it's kind of hard to bleed the heat off. You are correct though, and I wanted to actually, when I did the how are they still alive, where they were surviving in the snow planet, I was going to bring that up, and then I was like, you know what, it's not the direction I wanted to go. But you are correct, because that is exactly what happened over when they were fighting the Aleutians, World War II. If you don't know anybody outside of the continental United States, the Aleutian Islands is that chain of islands that sticks off Alaska. Yes, there was fighting up there. That's Arctic survival. Fun stuff. Not really. But yeah, the only other time I've seen anything close to that, and little army story for you guys from when I was deployed. We showed up and they were just finishing up with a firefight. They had cooked the barrel of the 50 cal so much that even in the daylight, I could see it glowing. The guy, I don't know, he was some NCO. I don't know if he was team leader, squad leader. He had the gunner's mitts, which are asbestos gloves, so he didn't burn the skin off his hands. He's unscrewing the barrel as fast as he can as we come up. And as soon as that thing come loose, he just whipped that sucker off the side of the bridge. It went into a river, and, well, more like a stream. And it's the only time I've ever seen flowing water boil. Yeah, wrap your brains around that one. There was a quick snap in there, which we know that was the barrel actually exploding. But those barrels, even though they're heat treated, they get too hot, they warp and they bend, and you don't want to use that. It'll explode. It's not a fun thing to be on the receiving end of. It's kind of cool to see that hot metal. Basically the idea is, if you ever seen anybody temper steel in an old-fashioned blacksmith shop, it's similar to that, but it was a bit more extreme. Never please anybody from Sea Dog. Write your mind desires. Oh, believe me, this mind can go many different places. Sometimes places I don't want it to go, but it does. Ooh, excuse me. Now, I will say this. That's actually why I actually changed, because I was going to be doing more of Family Guardian. Yes, I got more of my, still got notes after notes after notes here. But I was going to do that, but if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. And unfortunately, Family Guardian has not been viewed a lot at all. It just the thing is not human enough. That was viewed, and then I was like, you know what, I'm not in the mood for that one, so I did switch. I believe the next one, if things, if hell don't rise and the creek don't overflow, or however that goes, Flying Bricks is next once I'm done with the current series. And I know you guys like Flying Bricks. I think you guys got a big kick out of that. How the guy was, what's the word? Making his play on the alien chick or something like that. Somebody said it really funny in the comment section. I forget exactly how it was, but I actually snorted out my coffee when I read that. So yes, I do read the comments, folks, and I do appreciate every single one of them. Though I do wish some people would actually, when they have a complaint, would expand on said complaint. Don't just say, "Oh, your audio sucks." Well, do you know what I need to adjust? I'd appreciate the information. I don't know why this. I think dinner's playing hell with me, guys. Now I have to say this with the one coming in, man or machine. You're gonna have to listen close to the names. Okay, I was actually going through the notes on this for everything I had to do for it, and I realized I got 4 different faction names I got to remember, and let me know if it gets too confusing. I tried to make sure they sounded as different as possible, but if it gets too confusing, let me know, and I'll try shortening them. I know those of you who are big fans of Ambush Predator, you got used to the different ones, the Forest and the Shawnee, the Co, and all those. And I don't even have to look on my notes. I've done it so much. Thanks to you guys helping me out and actually making this channel better. I've been going through that so much because I always keep that in front of me to keep myself lined up. And if you're going to be making videos, I do recommend you do the same thing. On that same note, just remember you have to reverse plan if you're going to be creating any type of story, screenplay, anything in that genre. And I do recommend that in your notes, you have your where you want to start, where you want to finish, and at least 3 or 4 different points you want to hit. I do that as much as possible. Now, the kicker is, I'm going to tell you this straight up. You're going to write down about 5 different points, maybe 4, and you're going to not be able to hit one because at the time it's going to make sense in your brain. And when you start working through the story, you're going to realize, oh, it doesn't fit. Well, do what you can. I did have one for the video coming out tonight, and I was like, there's no way I can get that phrase in. No way I can get this phrase in. And it just morphed out that I could. Kind of a little Easter egg, but you kind of gotta be my age or better to truly understand it. Hate to say it, but I'm getting to be an old fart, and it is what it is. You know, I don't have gray in the beard yet, but I'm working on it. Although I know a few people are my age and their hair is white, like seriously, Snow White. Be consistent, all stories. That is the thing. I've always said that. I believe I even said that on the very first podcast I did. And that is, you got to stay consistent because if you lose consistency, you lose your audience. And I've actually stopped watching show series when they do that. They'll suddenly change something. A lot of the Trekkie Treks are notorious for this, especially if they go on for 5-6 seasons. They'll forget that they set something up in season 1 or season 2, and then they totally throw it away. And I'm just like, guys, come on. Just really? And, but I mean, sometimes you just got to go with it. I mean, you don't expect consistency from something like Simpsons or Family Guy. That's just not going to happen. Those are just general cartoons. You'll get more consistency in South Park than you do in either of those other ones. Why do I say that? Because, 30 years later, South Park is still pretty decent. It had its bumps in the road, but it's still pretty decent. The other ones sort of kind of fell off a cliff. And they're still falling down there. How's it going? Okay, yeah. I'm not throwing you a rope, Peter. You stay down there and croak. Stewie kick you in. So, all right. Also, I do appreciate you guys sharing because the channel has grown. And I will like to put this out since we've been on for just about 25 minutes now. When the channel hits 9,000, I will be doing a giveaway. I have a friend of mine actually has a t-shirt shop. So I'll be actually looking into trying to make designs, and it will not be a purchase. It will be a giveaway. But I'll put out the details when we actually get there. Right now, we're just under 6,000. So thank you. All right, a few more in here. I'm happy with I love the smell of Xenos in the morning line. My nephew didn't get it. He didn't get it. He's like, what the hell is that supposed to mean? He said, that doesn't make sense. I don't get it. It's like, ugh. He doesn't watch the classics. Let's see. Demon says, I'm a world builder, not a storyteller. It's more or less the same thing. I say that because they go together. You can't be a storyteller without being able to build the actual environment. But that's the first part. You may have an idea where the story's going to go, but if you can't build the environment, the story's going to go nowhere fast. I can't go into all the details of government and laws and cities, countries, land, ships act. Yeah, that's the whole kicker of many of the stories is, there's always confusion in the way people talk, especially when the translation. Why do they want me to mate my matriarchal parent? Why do they want me to suck on a body part? Why do they want me to kiss their posterior? That doesn't, what the hell? These are all insults, but we can't, and actually, I don't know if you can actually hear in the videos, but sometimes I'll get to one of those and I actually have to stop and I'll have to sit there and brainstorm because I had something that I've used before and I'm like, I need something new. But don't be surprised if you get writer's block, even if you're just building the area. It happens. Okay. Take a break from it. Come back to it later. And said, don't ask me to tell a story. It will go nowhere fast. And God forbid you ask me to name anything. That's the hardest part in character creation. Sorry, my phone glitched and it broke. Don't worry about your phone there, Demon. Not at all. Or Demon. Either way I'm guessing Demon because you got a succubus in your thing there. But names were actually very difficult. The names like Gretnar, literally, I'm just sitting there looking at some of the stuff around me and I'm trying to figure out what letter to start with. Okay. And then I got that. And then I was like, okay, she's female. Okay. That's not going to really matter. At least not the first part. Oh, wait, she's feline and they like to growl. So GR, and then it will just go from there. If you do end up working on and you do get the name, for the love of anything, please write it down, because you'd be surprised how many times I had to stop what I was doing, review my notes just to remember what the name of certain characters were, because I've had so many over the times. That's why I don't focus on a lot of characters with the names. It's like the human, the man, the brother, the whatever, because it's really hard to excuse me, to remember the names once you've even created them. Not on topic. I need help. I collect everything. I need a good open source. Okay, you're gonna have to. Anybody watching, our salty sea dog needs a good open source database package. I'm not a tech guy, so by all means, go in the comments section, send him whatever he's going to be sending or whatever he needs. Help everybody out. Hey, we're all here to enjoy stuff, but it's always good to help everybody out too. I wish I had a answer for you there, Sea Dog, but I really, really don't. But I'm not even sure. Open source database package. The closest I would get is go to the package store, and I know that's wrong. So besides, if anybody else opens anything I get from the package store, they're in for a bad day. Anyways, So let me get a sip here. Anyways, I hope nobody minded that I borrowed a line from a DC movie where how Wonder Woman has the lasso of truth, and we have tequila. Both ways of getting the truth out of you. But I do hesitate a lot against. I will say this, folks: you will not find a lot of heavy alcoholism or drug use in any of my stories. I try to stay away from that. I will do everything I can to keep it from being in any type of positive light in anything I write, because everybody I know who's got caught up in that has either hit rock bottom and dragged themselves up by their bootlaces, or is not around anymore. And it's not cool. It's not cool at all. So yeah, that's why you don't hear anything about that. Not to mention, in a few cases, well, actually, no, those I did a long time ago. I did a commissioned work a while ago, which the jerk decided not to pay me for, but it's definitely not YouTube friendly. Hint, hint. So, yeah, I touched on the character who was also genetic engineered, but because of that, they couldn't drink alcohol, and they used to drink heavy, and it was actually part of the character. The only character I've ever created that drinks heavy was one based off the DC universe. I talked about this a few weeks ago, where it was a character I created, was actually challenged to create something for the DC universe. And the guy, he's a dimensional jumper, but in his original universe, he was married to Power Girl. She was pregnant with his kid. Not only that, they had one already. So one out, one on the way. And they were hit by an assassin team that fired on her first, killed her, killed both of the children. And every time you bring that up, the first thing he does is he grabs a bottle and he upends it, because it tears him up on the inside. And I was actually the very first character I had that lived for centuries, because this guy physically, how do I put this? His mind is so adjusted that if he thinks he's a teenager, his body is going to morph that way slowly, just like Jean Grey's daughter. If she thinks she's another species, eventually she'll start changing herself that way. And yes, that's where I got the idea from. But it's common to see this guy slowly change over the course of whichever dimension he's in. So if he's talking to the Teen Titans, he starts looking younger over time. And that was a main part of his character. It's actually very difficult for him to be completely done. But he's the only one ever that I had who would drink to the point where you're like doing the whole Blazing Saddles line. Man, drink like that and he don't eat. He is going to die. When? This is a great movie, by the way. Just funny. Kids today wouldn't be able to handle it. And don't expect any woke stuff from me either. It's not going to happen. It is absolutely not going to happen. And I will let you know that it may seem like there's going to be some woke-ish stuff in the next part of Ambush Predators. When you actually break it down, it's not. I'm actually in the process of writing it. So, but small pieces at a time, because I can't sit down. If I throw everything down at one time, I'll burn myself out and I won't give you guys the best that we got. So, on that note, ladies, gentlemen, and everybody else in the chat, what brand of root beer is that? Sounds like a glass bottle. Don't get many of those anymore. It's all plastic garbage now. Yes, it is. Where I'm from, this is locally made. Hosmer Mountain is over here in the Northeast. They actually have a place over in Connecticut that I pass every once in a while, and I'll get some of this. But yeah, you got to shop local to get the good stuff now. It's just the way it is. No woke crap. Oh, thank the gods. Yep. Yeah. It's annoying me so bad, and I've had a few people actually claim that because I did a story where people, well, aliens transition to be more human, then I must be on their side, and I told them to kiss the darkest part of my ass. Yep. Night, everybody, or night there, Sea Dog. So, anyways, like I said, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna be leaving. Time for your safety brief. If you drive, you don't drink. If you drink, you don't drive. If your buddy wants to drink and drive, you are free to beat the shit out of him. Any way to keep him out of there. If your little soldier's going in the bush, make sure he wears his poncho. If you're gonna be partaking in anything of the strong narcotic type, and you don't invite me, you're already wrong. And you know that part. I'm not gonna be there. Aside from that, take care, everybody, and have yourself an awesome week. I'll see you next time. This is Syntext signing off.